Welcome to Study Skills for Success in College. This is the third lecture, the third and last lecture in this chapter 2, which is positive attitudes and goals. In lecture number 2 for this chapter, we discussed the first 2 of 4 methods to create a positive and self-motivating attitude. For this one, the last lecture in the chapter, we'll briefly cover 2 more methods, and we'll spend quite a bit of time on the topic of goal setting. Albert Einstein asked, "Why is it I get my best ideas in the morning while I'm shaving?" He came to realize eventually that he did not have to think about shaving because he did it so often. The routine act of shaving allowed him to slow his mind down, let his subconscious bubble up toward the surface with ideas. Your mind becomes relaxed and open during familiar and comfortable activities. This tends to happen naturally, but we can also choose to slow down and redirect our thoughts using meditation, as discussed briefly in the first chapter on stress management. Simply put, meditation is focusing on one thing. Now we can build on that idea by making that one thing a positive thought to plant in our minds. And meditation doesn't necessarily require you to sit in the lotus position. I refer to my time of focus as devotions, a time to devote myself to calm focus on one thought, one excerpt or phrase, and then to deeply consider it. Exercise 2-6 gets you started on this idea of deep focus or meditating or whatever you'd like to call your time of focus. Humor was briefly covered as a way to one of the methods or ways of dealing with stress, but we can expand on this topic. Many scientists are researching the effects of humor both on our bodies and our minds. Some research suggests that laughter improves our body's ability to fight off illness. Of course, laughter isn't really medicine, but it can help make medical treatments more effective. Let's look at laughter a little more closely. Humor can have many positive effects on your physical and your mental health. Laughing helps improve circulation. It releases some hormones that act as natural painkillers and ones that improve your mood. Not to mention, a good belly laugh can even provide exercise. What about the effect of laughing on the mind? Well, humor relieves stress. It lessens anxiety. In addition, it can help combat depression. And when appropriately used, laughing can also improve your self-image and increase your creativity. In the study skills chapter that's coming up, you'll be encouraged to use humor in making up silly, goofy stories to help you learn. Use humor when you can. Appreciate its benefits when someone makes you laugh. And remember that what is learned with humor is not easily forgotten. Partly because we all love funny bits, but also partly because we just love a story. And a joke, for example, is a sort of abbreviated story. So, what are some techniques we can use to add humor to our lives? Well, here are some suggestions. Feel free to come up with your own. Tell jokes. Tell some good jokes, stories that are funny, and avoid those that are going to, of course, make others uncomfortable, particularly if you're telling it to one other or just a few other people. Collect things that you find funny. Keep track of things that make you laugh. Maybe printouts of good jokes or funny pictures or gifs or memes or whatever. Keep things that are funny on your phone or your tablet or your computer, maybe in your desk drawer. And then also surrounding your work area with at least some funny stuff, things that sort of make you giggle or smile. Sayings is a great way to lighten your mood, sayings that are funny. What would someone's first impression of your work area be of you as a result of it? Smile and laugh out loud more often. This is one of the simplest and most effective techniques. Don't you wish you could laugh as many times as a kid does? How often do you laugh each day? Laughter helps put things in perspective. And besides, it feels good. Don't forget to have a good laugh at least once a day. Laugh out loud. Also, look for humor in every situation you can. It really is all around you, particularly these days. For example, when your social media feed is full of frustrating or dramatic posts, look for a video or a meme that'll remind you to stay lighthearted. And finally, remember to laugh at yourself. People are more comfortable around those who can make fun of themselves instead of finding fault in others. Have fun at work, have fun at school, but make sure you take your professional and your academic responsibilities seriously, of course. Exercise 2-7 ties in with healthy habits, positive thinking, and a form of goal setting to get you ready for the next section. Before we take a look at goals and how to achieve them, it may be a good idea to first ask yourself, what do you value in your life? What's truly important to you? Is money your ultimate goal? If so, are you looking to support and raise a family? Or would you rather work toward owning an expensive car? Maybe both. Hopefully, the career path you choose will be able to not only provide you with financial security, but also a sense of happiness and fulfillment. But most importantly, purpose. Values and priorities are closely related. The things that matter most to you should come first when it comes to how you spend your time and resources. When this happens, you're more likely to be successful. Values, priorities, success. These words will likely have different meanings from one person to the next, so let's think about what they mean to you. Your values are the things that are most important to you. Things like education, family, financial security, and so on. Some of these things are, to most people, very valuable. What differentiates us is how we prioritize our values. Prioritizing means putting things in order from most to least important. Let's say family is your top priority, just before education. This might make it hard for you to make time for your schoolwork because you feel you must always put your family's needs above your own. Just remember, getting an education can provide you and your family with opportunities, with financial security that you wouldn't otherwise have. Prioritizing your schoolwork doesn't mean you don't value your family. In fact, sometimes our top priorities go hand in hand. Now, upon several occasions throughout these lectures, I've alluded to the importance of honesty, particularly with ourselves. I'd like to encourage you once again to be honest about your priorities. Some of us know that some of what we value most reflects one or more of several unjustified and sometimes irrational argumentation. Like, I spend hours a day playing video games because I work so hard and I deserve some fun. I drink every day because I need to relax. I don't spend more time with my kids because I'm too busy at my job. I don't study or do homework on the weekends because it's the only time I have to get things done at home. It's the only time I have to watch my sports programs. It's the only time I have to. You fill in the blank. Any of these sound familiar? In truth, if you're honest, this is where we say there is indeed time in the day for fun, for work, for hobbies, and whatever else you'd like to add. in addition to work and the things we say we give priority to, time with family, etc. We simply don't prioritize because that takes effort. That also requires sacrifice. What do you want? With regard to family, you only get one chance to spend quality time with your kids while they're young, which almost always translates to a good relationship with them throughout their adulthood. When it comes to school, you'd be wise to be honest about what your spent time yields. That video game, while it may be fun, might be robbing you of growth, personal growth. Honesty and then action are critical in the game of life. Keep in mind that values and priorities may shift and change over time, so it's good to make a list every so often to keep yourself in check. Try to make decisions and set goals that line up with your value. This will ultimately lead to your success, however you define it. Exercise 2-8 helps you focus on priorities. Setting goals helps you map out your personal and professional path to success. Having a well-charted map makes it more likely that you'll arrive at your chosen destination, which hopefully is success. The conclusion of this chapter will show you how to set achievable goals to map your path to academic, personal, professional success. Research shows that people who effectively set goals concentrate better. They show more self-confidence. They feel more motivated, and they focus on tasks better. Can you see how concepts such as stress management, positive attitude, goal setting, these are all connected? Goals will help you turn your dreams into reality by giving you an action plan with specific deadlines. Goals are what we aim for, the things we want to achieve in our lives. Goals motivate us and help us navigate our journey to success. You may have already chosen your educational goal, and you can further use goal setting to help you achieve it. If you haven't yet chosen your educational program, you can use goal setting in the upcoming exercises to help you determine your career path. Developing goals will help you decide where you want to go and how to actually get there. In the academic skill chapters, you'll learn about using memory aids like acronyms to understand concepts. An acronym is a way to shorten many words into one term by using their first letters, like NASA is an example, NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Let's introduce here an acronym to teach you about how to set goals, because this is a key factor on your journey to success. And it wouldn't be wise to ignore goal setting. Remember to set SMART goals, SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals. Let's look at each of these characteristics in a little more depth. Specific is the more honed in type of focus. The more general the goal, like I want to get a job that pays me a lot of money, the harder it is to achieve. Instead, try to set goals that are detailed, specific, like I want to get a job as an architect. To give another example, let's say your goal is to do well in your first semester. This is a little too vague. What do you mean by well? Instead, your goal should be something like, I want to get a B average or better in my first semester. Now you have a specific outcome to aim for. Specific goals also make it easy to tell when you've achieved them. You'll know for sure if you achieved a B average goal when you get your semester grades. So the more specific your goal, the easier it is to reach. Measurable. As we mentioned previously, you should be able to tell when you've reached your goal. This means you need to set goals you can measure. If your goal is too abstract, I want to succeed, for example, it can be impossible to tell if you've achieved it. So instead, set goals that can be measured, like, I want to pass this course. Measuring means asking yourself, how will I achieve this goal? How will I keep track of my progress? How will I know when I'm done? Finding ways to measure your progress toward your goal every step along the way will help you keep track. A is for achievable. Don't set goals you can't hope to achieve, like, I want to run a marathon next week, even though I'm out of shape. When I taught middle school, I used to hear kids, specifically mostly boys, of course, say all the time, I want to be an NBA star. They're 13, 14 years old. I used to encourage them to first make smaller goals toward that large goal. So, chart a path toward making your goals achievable. So, instead of I want to run a marathon next week, say tomorrow I'll start training for a marathon next spring by running 1 mile. Now, this doesn't mean setting easy goals. Every goal you set should be a challenge. Otherwise, how are you going to grow? For example, in sports, it's easy to play against weak competition and look really good. To improve, you need to play against people who are actually better than you. Many coaches say, you're only as good as your competition. Become your own competition by choosing a goal that you will be challenged by, and then enjoy the payoff in a big way once you've achieved it. Just remember to find a balance between setting goals that are challenging and achievable. And now on to R, realistic. On a similar note, setting unrealistic goals like I want to start and finish this 20-page paper by tomorrow is a surefire way to set yourself up for failure. You should set goals that are within your reach. Like, I want to create an outline for my paper today so that I can start writing a rough draft tomorrow. Remember, each time you accomplish a new goal, you're setting the bar a little higher. If you got a C on your last test, you should aim for a B on the next one, and so on. So, as you expand what is achievable and realistic to you, don't be afraid to set more challenging goals. Raise the bar. You have to determine where you are going to set the bar for yourself. If you do try to jump too high and end up on the ground, just get back up. Try again. T is for time bound. Many of us need deadlines in order to accomplish a task. I know I do. And goals are no different. When you set a time frame for your goal, you make it much more likely that you'll achieve it. Ask yourself when, realistically, you can complete your goal. Which of the following categories does it fall under? Short-term goal, which is tomorrow, next week, next month. A medium-term goal, 1 month to 6 months or so from now. Or a long-term goal, a year or more. Even though the time frame for completion is key, for medium and long-term goals, you'll also want to set checkpoints along the way. This is a form of measuring your success and your progress. For example, if you have a medium-term goal of being able to run a marathon 6 months from today, you've certainly got to check in with your progress at least every month to make sure you're on track. Creating a kind of schedule of mini deadlines within your ultimate time frame can combat procrastination by keeping you motivated along the way. Consider the following when setting goals. Always use positive language when stating a goal. For example, saying I will earn a B average or better in my first semester is much better than saying I will not get D's or F's this semester. It's better to say what you will do than what you won't. Along with being positive, have confidence in your goals. I will earn a B average or better rather than I will try to earn a B average or better. Write what you will do. Be sure the goals you set are self-chosen. You think you're more likely to achieve a goal someone else has set for you, or one that's in line with what you have as values? Well-meaning people in your life may have your best interests at heart and attempt to set goals for you. You really should consider their thoughts, but your ultimate goals must be chosen by you. This gives you ownership and responsibility for your goals. Your goals should be something you desire and really want to accomplish. A lot of times we forget to use past successes as motivation as we continue our journey through life. When we come up with new goals, we should take a minute to think about what we've already accomplished. Remember that feeling of success and use it as inspiration. It's also important to have goals that balance your personal and professional lives. If you have all professional goals and no personal development goals, you may soon burn out by not taking care of yourself. Your professional goals will suffer for sure as a result. So, develop the kind of goals that complement each other. And now try exercise 2-9. One problem with goal setting is that people set too many small goals. They get overwhelmed and then they fail. Therefore, this text focuses on goals that are medium to long term, not so much short term goals. This will give you a clear vision of where you want to be in the next 6 months, say, or a year from now, and they'll help you develop a successful plan to get there. Once you experience that initial success and see the power of goal setting, it'll motivate you to go even further. One of the first rules is to write down your goals and keep them where you can refer to them. Take a look at exercise 2-10, and that will help you get started. Now that you have a clear picture of where you want to be in 6 months to a year, because I'm assuming you did the exercise, how do you plan on getting there? Next, you need a plan. You've got to plan a course by creating objectives. Objectives are actions you need to take to achieve your stated goal. You can also think of objectives as the specific steps on your path to completing your long term goal. So it's objectives leading to goals leading to success. Developing objectives or action plans will help you succeed. For example, your goal may be to graduate and start your own business. That's a great goal, but you have to chart a plan of action with specific steps. Some of the objectives may include figuring out what academic program to enroll in, researching the requirements for graduating from that program, talking to other business people, maybe getting an internship so you can get some experience and learn from contacts and so on. I would urge you to continue with the goal setting process by completing exercises 2-11 and 2-12. Now that you've completed this chapter, take a few minutes to sit back and think deeply about what has impacted you most. Were there statements, pictures, specific slide topics, exercises that caught your attention? Now it's time to act. Remember this: you are what you think. Your attitude determines your life, because your attitude either holds you back or drives you forward. Are you tired of being held back? Do something about it. Only one life.